Good evening and welcome to Black and White. What is life? Only traveling? No. Education? No. You want to earn money and live through different phases of life? No. Life is interesting because you want to do everything in this life. Sports, education, profession, you mix them all together and that becomes a complete life. I have a very special guest here with me today. Actually, she is in Nepal for a short visit. She's had experiences that she's never had anywhere in her lifetime here. She is my friend, I can say that, but more than that, I know her as an athlete. World ranked number 2 in juniors in 1989, a hurdler. She is also an athletic director in University of North Texas. She hailed in from Louisiana State University. In 1989, she was at her peak, running, and through that running, she is here with us in Nepal. It's my pleasure to welcome none other than Cinnamon Shefil. Cinnamon, welcome to Black and White.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel?
I'm excited. Glad to be here. I've had a great time here in Nepal.
A lot of experiences.
Quite a few.
Did a lot of trekking too?
Started trekking from Lukla to Namche. That was pretty tough, but made it through. Second adventure was to the Chitwan village, did the Safari Island tour, rode on an elephant through the jungle. That was great. And through all of that, I've had great food, met great people, had a great time.
Nepali way of life.
Indeed. I've enjoyed it.
What's the difference between trekking and track running?
First of all, trekking, you need to be in shape. Now, I used to be a world-class hurdler. Right now, I'm just a world-class professional. So I'm not really in good enough shape. But I think through perseverance, being an athlete, you're always going to be competitive. So adrenaline kicked in and allowed me to get through. So it was fun.
You made it.
Oh, I made it, yeah. Can't let the mountains defeat me.
Ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
Little pain here and little gain there.
Oh, yes. Little pain. Lots of pain, but that's all about
being
an athlete.
Too.
Yes. It's an experience I'll never forget. So it's worth the pain.
How do you feel being in Black and White today?
I'm excited. I like Black and White.
Let's talk about sports. That's your line.
Sports.
You are heading the athletic team in University of North Texas.
That's correct.
There are nearly about 37,000 students there.
There are.
How is it?
In our athletics department, there are about 360 student athletes. My job, one of my main jobs, is to make sure that our students are eligible and that they maintain good academic standing and that they graduate. I think one of the things that it's exciting for me is that they graduate and that they go back to their societies and their communities and become productive citizens.
Academically also?
Yes.
It's not only sports?
No.
So you combine sports and education together as a package?
It is a package. They go
now,
hand in hand.
If you see any student which is academically way down, what do?
We provide a support system for them. We
they
evaluate.
Still can't make it?
They will make it. If they come through my program, they will make it.
You're a tough lady.
Yes. We have very high standards. We treat everyone. We individualize each one. We evaluate, we talk, we see what kind of student they are, and we prepare a program for each student.
But we don't have that in Asia. It's still developing, you know.
Okay.
Sports and education don't go together. They say it's, if you have leisure time, you get into sports. But they still haven't made that a profession where they can actually walk in and say, look, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to make my living through this.
Well, in America, sports and athletics is a way of life. It's an old tradition. And they've combined it at the university setting, which gives students an opportunity to do the sport that they love and to get an education.
10-time All-American student. Can you just elaborate on what is being an All-American student?
Well, it takes a lot of hard work, first of all. But at the end of each year, we have the national championships. The NCAA is the National Collegiate Athletic Association, which sponsors the championships for each sport. And in track, if you are in the top 8 in your event, you're considered All-American.
All right.
For track and field, we have indoors as well as outdoors.
All right.
So 10 times I placed in the top 8 indoors and outdoors in my 4 years in college.
That's how you're also number 2 in the world.
Number 2 in the world as a
18.
freshman, yeah.
And after that?
I went to the Olympic trials as a high school senior. I was the youngest competitor in the 100 hurdles. Didn't do too well, didn't do bad, but I was the youngest one there. So it was a great experience in preparing me for my collegiate experience.
So the timing set by the All-American student athletes.
Okay.
Some of the timings are better than, in par with the world record.
Yes, usually the times that are run at the NCAA championships are top in the world.
What about your university now?
At University of North Texas, our track program is doing well. We have a lot of young students, a lot of young up-and-coming student athletes, and they're doing well. The caliber of students that we're getting is improving each year. So I'm excited about them.
What about the so-called pretenders?
You can't.
They project something, and when you actually take them in, there's somebody else. Have you ever had any experience like that?
In world class or even in collegiate athletics, you can't pretend.
No?
Because the person next to you who's worked hard is going to be better than you. You can't pretend or you'll be left in the dust.
Let's talk about injuries. When you get into in sports, you get into a lot of injuries.
Yes, you do.
Especially track and field.
Well, I've had, one of my major injuries was a pulled or strained hamstring. Hampered me my junior year. Didn't do so well. It happened at the end of the indoor season. So my outdoor season was not as productive as it needs to be. And then I tried to come back a little sooner than I needed to and re-injured the hamstring. So, but injuries are going to come and go. You know, you can train, you can eat, you can do all the right things.
But you have the backup.
Yeah. At our university, we have 3 doctors.
Just tell me you don't have to give me the exact figure, but the amount of money that is allocated for sports in your faculty.
In our university, well, I'll start with this. We're building a new stadium, and that stadium alone is probably around $60 million US.
We can only dream of.
That's just the stadium where we'll play football. So our entire budget that I would think we'd spend daily is probably around $50 million to take care of 360 athletes, around 30 coaches. We have to outfit them, we have to educate them, we have to feed them. So it's a big business.
It's impossible for Nepalese people from our part of the world to even think and dream of reaching that height in any sports. I can't even think of anybody doing that, you know.
I think America is the land of opportunity. Anybody from any part of the world that wants to come and succeed can.
You have somebody.
We have somebody. We have people from all over the world. We have somebody from Nepal who's at the University of North Texas. He's done great. He's brought our tennis program.
Has he brought it up?
He's brought it up instantly. When I met him, it was an instant. I knew he had passion for the sport.
Is he as tough as you are?
In his own way. We are a team. We connect. We work well together for the benefit of the good.
Where is he?
He's somewhere around here. I think he's been showing me around Nepal, so hopefully we can get him to come and be on the show as well.
As your guest?
As my guest.
Not as my guest, though.
Not as your guest.
Okay. Before you bring him in, I'd like to take a break. It's time for a little break. Don't go away. I have with me Shimamam. But this is the name one of our guide gave her. She's been baptized again. Shimamam instead of cinnamon. Stay back with Black and White. Welcome back to Black and White. I have yet another guest. Simon, he's your guest. I think you should introduce him to you.
I would like to introduce the University of North Texas head tennis coach, Mr. Sujay Lama.
Yes, Sujay, welcome to Black and White.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure. Really proud of you, brother.
Brother.
Also,
Brothers.
Brother.
Yep. My brother here, really proud of what he's done and what he's accomplished. But it's really good to be back, to my motherland. Of course, I was born here, so I'm really, really proud of Nepal and really deeply care about the Nepalese people and the progress that we can make. So it's a great time to be with family and friends, but also it's a great time to be in this show. And
खुसी लाग्छ?
एकदम खुसी लाग्छ. एकदमै.
कति वर्षपछि आएको?
खास 4 वर्षपछि, तर I've been living away for a long time. I've been in the States for 23 years. But it's been a wonderful adventure.
Tell us about your journey from here to the professional tennis circuit, and probably, let me just also tell that you're the only tennis player to be selected for the Wimbledon juniors. That time you were ranked?
Yes, I was top 50 in the world in juniors.
In juniors.
And I was very blessed. I've had a very blessed life. I've had great education, but I think the main thing is that it's all about the foundation. It's the family. It's our mom and dad. They sacrifice a lot and give us the education. And then the rest is history, because it's all about hard work and dedication and honesty. I think if you do that, you combine that, then the life, really goes off in the right direction. And so
is that what he does there too?
He works hard.
A tough guy.
Very passionate, and he works really hard.
So you have to work, whenever you're working, you have to work with passion too.
Yeah, passion
not
is
only
very
hard work.
important. Yeah, because you can see through the people who are just doing it for whatever reason. But when I met him, I could feel the passion he had for tennis.
Otherwise you get burnt out.
Probably, or you won't do well.
Is that what happened to you in athletics?
No, I just
You quit track and field and chose different line.
I just decided it was time for me to start
Stop it.
working.
Stop that and start working.
Yeah, but I always stayed in the field of athletics. It's hard to get out.
But you took a degree in English?
English and speech communications. I was a double major.
yeah, I talk to a lot of young people, and I think that's one thing I always tell them, find something that you're passionate about. I think the three of us here, we love what we do. And when you love what you do, you're passionate about it, then it's easy, and it's fun, and then you're going to be good. You're going to be very productive. But I think also at a higher level, the older I get, I think also it's important that you have a mission in life too, that you make a difference. You don't just work for yourself, because you can be successful, you're going to have a good life, but at the end of the day, you go to bed, you want to feel like you've made a difference with your society, with your country, with your university, and I think that's what life is all about, getting that passion and having a mission.
That gives you that kick.
Oh, absolutely. You want to wake up in the morning excited. That's what we do. We wake up early in the morning because we can make a difference.
You're reborn every time you're up in the morning.
Oh, absolutely. You want to be excited to go to work. We always talk about so many people, they wake up in the morning, they don't want to go to work. Right. They don't enjoy it. They have to go to work, Whereas I think we are lucky. And I think everybody can find their passion.
Nepali teenagers are like, if you want to say something, ke bhane. What would you like to tell them?
Well,
Garनुपर्sa. Ke garनुपर्sa?
I think I'll give you an example. When I'm here right now, every morning at 7:30, I get the kids that are the top Nepalese players who are juniors, and I train them. And yesterday they came, 20 minutes late, and so we had a nice lecture about being responsible, having a goal, and doing it with all heart and soul. I think that's the main thing. Is in Nepal, I see a lot of people getting excited about something, but they don't go all the way. So if you are going to do something, you might as well do it all out or don't do anything. Do something else.
There's no in between.
No in between.
Just like black and white. There's no gray shades in between.
Yeah. And again, I know that we talk about America as the land of opportunity, but I do believe that you create your own opportunities. And although Nepal, there might be a lot of roadblocks, you can fight through that. And yes, it's a tougher route, but you can get there eventually. And I've seen a lot of people like this year. I'm trying to get 2 of the Nepalese players who just have graduated to get a scholarship in the United States. I think it's possible, but they have to do their part too. You can't just dream. You got to put your dreams in writing. It becomes goals. Goals are attainable.
How do you work as a team?
I think we are a team. We're colleagues. Academically, I make sure his students get what they need. I oversee a couple of different sports, and tennis is one. If there's something that he needs, he asks me, or we discuss it more so, and I figure out a way to get it. My job is to make his job easier. It's for him to be successful, and it's up to me to make sure he gets everything he needs to be successful.
And that's a great point. I think that's one thing that maybe this country, I think, sometimes lacks, is that teamwork. In the United States, yes, if I am successful, she's successful. So she's going to do everything to make me successful. And that's how we work over here. Yes, and I've talked to the kids about that too. And that's something that, it's a culture a little bit. I think it's also insecurity. But once you are past your insecurities, then you realize that if I am successful, and that's good for somebody else out there, and so it's a give and take, and I think that's what the United States is all about, and that's why it's so up there in everything that they do.
It's taken you nearly 3-4 years to be back here. When can we expect you to come here every year and at least give 1 month to our Nepalese kids?
Well, it's I would love to do that, but I've got 2 little kids growing up, and it's extremely
Bring them
expensive
along
to come
here.
over here. Yeah,
Let them see the Nepalese way of life.
yeah. But ultimately, what I'd like to do is spend 6 months in Nepal and 6 months in the United States.
When will that be now?
Well, I hope that I can work hard enough. But like I have a one of my missions here is working for Project Nepal, trying to raise money for the small school that we have, for orphan kids over here. So that kind of really connects me at a daily level. I'm working for the children, raising funds out there. So it really connects me to my motherland. But ultimately, yes, when the time is right, we have some big plans to build a bigger school, a hospital over here, and a couple of tennis courts over here, so we can give back.
So you want to give back to this nation?
Oh, no doubt about that. No doubt
Tell me
about
about
that.
the experience working with the top 10 international tennis players.
I'll
I'll come back to you. It's time for me to take a breath. Welcome back to Black and White. Sujay, Lama, Cinnamon, Shefil, University of North Texas.
That's correct.
Just in short, tell us about your experience. You worked with players like?
Well, the highest ranked player I was working was with Amanda Coetzer. She became top 10 in the world, and
Number 6, I guess, one time.
Yeah, at one time I think as high as 6. But it was just an amazing experience for 5 years to travel the world, to go to all the Grand Slams. I did, I think, about 14 to 16 Grand Slams, and it was a dream. I had a chance to play Wimbledon as a junior, but because of injury, it diverted my career a little bit. So it was always a goal to be back at Wimbledon, back at the U.S. Open, French,
You
Australian.
did that through coaching?
Yes, through coaching, and it was wonderful because I not only coached a South African, I coached an Argentinian player, Greek player, South Africans, American players.
Japanese?
Yeah, Japanese, and really, I learned a lot.
Then the transition from that to the collegiate level.
Well, I think the stability factor. It's great, exciting, glamorous at the beginning, but when you live your life off your suitcase, you're traveling from city to city 9-10 months out of the year, it gets to be tiring. And
So you have people like Cinnamon, Shivamum.
That's right, yeah. Well, I think collegiate athletics in the United States is one of the greatest things in the world as far as for students and for athletes. It's such a high level, and I have a facility. I have 12 tennis courts for 9 girls, and it cost $3.5 million to build that facility. I have a budget, and just for travel budget for my team, we've got over $50,000. Each of my kids have 8 full scholarships, and I have kids from Romania, 2 from Romania, 1 from Czech Republic. I've got a kid from Colombia, South Africa, India.
What do we need to do to get some Nepalese players under his program?
Well, I think as long as he has the connection, and there are good students here that want to come and that are going to work hard and get through all of whatever the red tape is.
Despite all the hassles that we are going through politically here.
It's the opportunity. If they want to get to the U.S. and play tennis and be a student, they can do it. I think Sujay is a good road. He's a good avenue to connect with those students and tell them exactly what they need to do to prepare. And that's the key, being prepared to play and to be educated in the States on a collegiate level.
So it goes.
It's possible.
Do you have Nepalese students in your university now?
I believe we do. I'm not sure.
How
We
many
have
of
a
them?
big international program.
No,
You may
I
know.
believe, yeah, we've got about 75. A bunch of, students are actually doing PhD. A lot of physics,
Science.
they're doing the doctorate in physics.
Is it because of our society that the parents, they like to live off their dream through their children?
I don't know.
They say, oh, you got to become a pilot. Oh, you got to become a doctor. Oh, you got to become an engineer, something, They don't let their children
Decide.
go out and get their dreams.
No, I agree with you in that, because my mom always thought that I should be a doctor, and then she always thought, oh, coaching is a low profession, until when she visited me in Florida, when I was coaching at Florida, and she realized for the first time that, wow, actually coaching is a great profession. And so I think people are opening up. I can see that in that area. I think Nepal has opened up quite a bit. I think people are much more aware that there's more than just being a doctor, engineer. or pilot, you know. But I think you know, every profession again is great. but-
Profession through sports.
That's
Yeah,
possible.
That's
Great.
possible.
Absolutely.
And education through sports, first of all.
Education through sports.
Because several of our students are on full scholarship where we cover tuition, books, room and board, and a few other necessities that they would need.
Don't they get stressed? The stress factor is there.
That's where I come in as overseeing academics. Athletes are tough,
Yeah, the mother hen. You cover them.
but we give them the support that they need. We give them every opportunity, every avenue, every resource that I could possibly give them to be successful.
And time management is one of the
Yeah.
key areas that we have to emphasize. And you know, our student athletes on the average are better students than the normal students.
Yeah,
So
our GPA.
over here in Nepal, if you know, parents are saying that, you know, you can't do athletics and academics, I think they are wrong, because it's all about time management. And in many ways, I mean, they get out of trouble, they manage their time better, and that they're successful.
Please do tell our audience, you know, what sports and education together means, rather than segregating that in sports is sports and education, academics.
Sports and education creates opportunity. We are able to provide students with scholarships so they can come to the University of North Texas and play or compete in the sport that they love. And in turn, they will get a degree that will allow them to do whatever they want to do. So I think sports and education creates the opportunity for students.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah, and how we look at it also is that, you know, it's academics first, because, you know, you could just have an injury, you know, any minute, any day. You know, in my case was a great example. It was a blessing in disguise. I had an injury 3 days before I played Wimbledon. At that time I was depressed. I was out for 6 to 8 months. I did not know what I was going to do, because I had quit high school. I had finished 10th grade, and you know, because of the opportunity to go and get my education, at the same time pursue the athletic, you know, what I did was tennis, played tennis in college. That gave me my life. I was able to experience life. I was able to travel the world, get my job, move around, see the entire world, and that's the beauty, I
But
think.
that's, you are just a handful, few lucky one numbers, you know, from Nepal. If the general mass, those who are talented, both ways, you know, you think they can get this opportunity? You think they can reach that sky?
There's so many levels of you know, college athletics. I mean, we are at the highest level, which is the Division 1, and there's 350 universities and colleges that have tennis in Division 1. Now you've got Division 2, you've got Division 3, you've got NAIA, you've got junior college. So there's for every level. I mean, but again, you know, because you are trying to break into the United States, you have to also show that you're capable and not just average. And so yes, you can break in, but you have to work, you have to sacrifice. And sometimes young people don't know that, you know, it's not just, okay, well, I'm going to work hard for 6 months. I mean, it's a lifestyle.
Okay, you have been coming back to this country, seeing the status of our sports, especially in coaching level. If we had people like you all here, with a backup like Cinnamon and your coaching experience, do you think we can produce players faster than you can think of?
No doubt about that. I mean, even in this week that I have spent with some of the kids, I mean, they've already improved.
So they have the potential.
It's absolutely. I mean, the first day I made them run 2 miles, none of them could even go half a mile. Today I ran 5 miles with the kids, and they were girls, guys. I mean, they did it, and so they're starving for encouragement. They're starving for coaching, and I think that's for me.
Sports psychology.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest pain for me. You know, I love this country, and I come back over here, and I'm not here, and it breaks my heart when I see young people that really want to get better, and they don't have that. You know, and so that's the sad part about, you know. But again, you know, you have to look at the glass half full. You know, you cannot look at the glass half empty, and so. You know, you have to look at the positive side, and it is doable.
Well, this is what Black and White is all about. Think positive, talk positive, feel positive. So guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, Ama Bahu Sabhi, think positive, work hard, talk less. This is where you are. Nepal, Ramru Nepal. Until next week, Do stay back with Black and White, because I'm going to come back with a lot of interesting guests like Cinnamon, Sujay, and people like them. Namaste, cheerio, and good night.